This will likely be my very last video on this platform, and it's gonna be a doozy. So before I start, I want to remind you that you don't follow me because I say things that you agree with. You don't follow me because I say the popular thing, and you don't follow me because I say the things that are universally agreed upon. You follow me because I look stuff up, I do the research, I run the numbers, and I tell you what I find. That being said, this app has brought us so many wonderful things. But unfortunately, the legacy of TikTok is not going to be independent journalism or activism. The legacy of TikTok is not going to be all of the communication that we had, all of the memes that we shared, all of the funny videos that we made, the music that we listened to, the books that we read. It's not even going to be the TikTok trends or the dances. I say this with tired eyes and a heavy heart. But the legacy of TikTok is not any of those things. The legacy of TikTok is this. People won't remember all of the TikTok trends and dancing and books and music. People won't remember the actual activism that took place here that helped change the world. What they'll remember is the armchair activists who could not be bothered to look stuff up themselves. The legacy of this app, unfortunately, will be that the users on this app decided to be mad during times of crisis instead of learning what to do about it. And unfortunately, this is a good example. 29% of the people who stayed home who voted for Biden in the previous election stayed home because they didn't agree with Harris's views toward Gaza. Even though when asked, the people in Gaza prefer Kamala Harris or anyone over Trump. Even though Harris has been loudly committed since this whole thing started to a two-state solution and security and safety for Palestinians, people still choose to believe that when asked, will there be a change in policy, her answer was just no. People also still somehow choose to believe on this app that both parties are the same when it comes to Israel military funding. Even though if you actually look up the bills, it's very clear which party voted for them. That is unfortunately the legacy that this app will have. It will be that armchair leftists, armchair activists use this app to communicate that we should do nothing. Why should you vote? Why should you protest? Why should you send letters to Congress? Why should you sign petitions when you can be an activist from your couch? All you have to do is leave a comment, right? You don't have to look up anything. You don't have to learn anything new. You just have to follow what creators that you agree with say because you've already decided that you agree with them. You're so mad about the slaughter of innocent Palestinians that you don't bother to care about what their views are. You're so mad about funding to Israel that you don't bother looking up to see who's responsible for that funding. And as a result, here we are. The guy that Netanyahu wants in office won the election. That is going to be TikTok's legacy. As much as I hate to say it, because so many wonderful things happened on this app. There are so many wonderful things about this app. This app has changed my life. There are so many things to do on this app, from learning about science, to learning about law, to politics, to music, to miscellaneous random other shit that whatever Dex talks about. Just to name a few, I've made so many good friends on this app, and I've learned so many new cool things. But unfortunately, I don't think any of those wonderful things are going to go down in history as much as what we did in the 2024 election. I think, unfortunately, the legacy of this app, when we read about it in history books, we are ultimately going to think of what happened this election. We're going to see all these people that didn't vote because they had some other idea of how the government worked or some other idea about what politicians are doing than what actually happened in real life, and they didn't care to know the difference. And I think that the people who want to remember this app in a fond light will unfortunately forget about all the inherent racism that happened on this app. Remember how over the past several years, LGBTQ plus creators and people of color were just banned randomly just for being themselves. And remember how many toxic commenters, no matter how much we reported them, would just never go away because no violation found. I think that since this app is going away, we're all looking at it through rose-colored glasses. And I think history, unfortunately, will show very different things about this app than what we remember. I love this app. I'm going to miss this app. This app changed my life for the better. But unfortunately, I think when the sun goes down Saturday night and this app goes with it on Sunday morning, what we're going to be left with is a lot more nuanced than we want to believe. Once again, this is where to find me. If you don't meet up with me there, I'll miss you. And I hope you find some new stuff to learn wherever you go. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.